This is called the Hubs Hopper. It's pretty simple. It's just an attractor fly. You can mix it up with the colors. You can find it also on my website at outfittersnorth.com. Well, it's a whopping 5 degrees out here in northern Michigan today, and I don't know. All this cold has me thinking about flip-flops and hopper fishing. So one thing I really enjoy doing on the Pere Marquette or a lot of these rivers in northwest Michigan is spending a summer day floating down the river, throwing a tractor fly for trout, whether it's, you know, a big foamy bug or maybe a damsel fly or a terrestrial of some sort, a beetle or an ant. It's just a fun way to fish and spend a summer day. So for the hook, I like to use a terrestrial dry fly hook. It's a heavy wire, usually 1X or 2X long. This one's a size 6. Usually I'll use for this fly a 6 or an 8. I'm just going to tie it on the 6 today because it'll be easier for you guys to follow the process of it. So we're going to start with a pretty good thread wrap. Just starting from the eye, we're going to leave a little bit of space to finish it off, and we're just going to work right to the back, and I'm going to give it a couple thread wraps because we're going to put foam on this, and foam likes to spin. So we're first going to start off with a little hot spot of a little red ice dub. If you've ever seen like a real hopper, it actually does have some red on it, like around its legs or even in its throat area or in the rear of it. So we're just going to put a little bit of red ice dub. And we're just a little bit, nothing super big. We're just going to make a little tail right here. We're just going to tie this right off the bat. And I'm just going to cut it short. It doesn't have to be super long. So just like that. And the next step is we're going to use a piece of foam. I like to use olive or like this Kelly green for this one. So we're going to take a piece of foam. You can see I kind of made like a beaver tail with it. And the tail part, I'm just going to tie in right over the red. Right over that little hot spot we made. So I'm going to do a few wraps and cinch it down really well. Then for the legs, we're going to tie in, I like these centipede legs. So we're going to tie in some red. And I'll show you how I do this. I'm just going to cut 2 of them, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I wrap it, fold it around my thread, and I'm just going to come up and go over, and there's the far side. Just like that. And then with the other one, I'm going to do the same process. Just going to bring it right up, right to the hook, and cinch it. Now I'm going to add a little bit more bling to this fly by using just a sparse little body of dubbing. And that kind of will hold all this material on too so it doesn't twist. And I like to use this ice dub caddis green. It's kind of got that lime green look to it. So I'm just going to do a little bit. And these flies are so easy. And like I said, you can experiment with colors. So I start off and I'm just going to wrap it around a little bit around those legs because that'll keep those legs in place better. And then I'm just going to bring the foam back and just kind of make a little bit of a body with it because that'll even help cinch that foam down. And I still I fish these foam flies all the time, and you'll see this thing's going to have a deer hair wing too, so it floats high, and you want it to float high. You want to be able to twitch it, let these rubber legs do their work. You know, if you've ever seen a hopper or a stonefly hit the water, it's not like a mayfly. It doesn't land nice and pretty and delicate. So I'm going to go just a little bit more. I don't want to get it too close to the front of the eye, but I'm going to give it maybe a couple more wraps of the dub. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this tight and cinch it down. Just like that. And then I'm going to add some more rubber legs. In the front I'm going to put this tan. It's kind of a centipede. And it's just the same process. So I'm going to take one, kind of get them even at the tip, bring it up, fold it over. Take the other one, just pull it right to it. Give it a good cinch. And now I'm gonna do the wing. So basically, you're gonna use a good piece of deer hair. You want something a little longer because you're gonna overset this over the whole entire fly. So what I do is I'm gonna get a big chunk because no matter how I cut this, I'm gonna end up losing some of it anyways. And I'm just gonna get a big chunk of it, and then I'm gonna put it in a stacker. So that way it gets all even and it's gonna push all those longer fibers to the back. So I'm gonna put it in a hair stacker like this, and then I'm just tap a little bit and it drops it all down so it's gonna be tip. And then you're gonna pull it apart, and you could see like there's already like little extra. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab it by the tip and then grab the other end with my fingers and just kind of get all that extra stuff so it's somewhat even. Now this actually turned out pretty good, but it's probably a little too thick, so I'm going to take just a little bit off it. We don't want it too thick because then it's just going to poof right out. So now what we're going to do is kind of measure this out, and I don't want it way out here. I'm not making a streamer. I want it to set like a wing. So I'm just going to have it right kind of over the back of the little bit of red flashabou we put on the tail. So I'm going to put it here, and now the key is I'm going to come around and do some loose wraps first, 2 of them, and then pull tight. And then I'm going to come around again, pull tight. And you're going to have access coming off as you do this. But that's how so see I have this nice overwing. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and trim it like a little head. You just got to be careful though that you don't get your thread or your rubber legs. So yeah, these are pretty simple to make. I mean, I've seen a lot of hoppers that, yeah, they probably look more realistic and they're a little more complex, but same thing. We all know fishing the Pere Marquette River, flies end up in a lot of trees. So now what I'm going to do is take a little bit more of this green ice stub, and you could even tie in a little piece of foam, but I'm just going to wrap a little bit here because that's going to basically drop that wing a little bit down farther and make sure these legs. So I'm just wrapping it just a little bit right around between the center of the legs, and then that drops that wing down a little bit more. Trim up this. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to cut the end of this piece of foam, and then I'm going to whip finish. And I'm coming under the foam to do my whip finish. This is a little tricky because you don't want to get those legs, so I usually pull it back with my fingers, and then I just get in there and do my whip finish. And you can glue it when you're finished. Now I'm going to trim the legs up a little bit. You could fish it like this if you really wanted to twitch it a lot, but I kind of want to twitch it and dead drift it, and I want these legs to be a little stiffer so they're moving in the current. Like if a fish is looking at it from above, it's, you know, the legs are just kind of moving a little bit, and it's making the fly actually move underneath too by moving water. So I'm just going to try to get them even basically. I just take them and I'm just going to kind of pretty simple hopper fly. The Hubs hopper.
If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more of this type of content, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to this channel. Good luck fishing.